Hey everyone, welcome to the Wealthy Marketer Show. I am your host, the Wealthy Marketer himself, and once again I have my producer here, Achee, also known as Mike Johnson. We're really excited to be here with you guys today. This is episode 3. We're in the year 2022, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more consistent, get these things flowing on a more regular basis, every month at a minimum, maybe twice a month. And looking forward to hosting a lot of episodes with you this month or this year, Achee, and also having a lot of guests. We're really going to be mixing it up. You know, Justin will come on from time to time, and we'll also have people from all over Vancouver, influencers that are doing big things on social media, other marketers who are, you know, pursuing their dreams and becoming wealthy marketers in their own right. Like ourselves. And also, you know, I'd love to have real estate professionals on the show, because, you know, there's a lot of things going on in Canada's real estate market, which is a concern for me. And experts of all different shapes and sizes. It could be politicians. It could be, you know, a hairstylist, like anything and everyone. You're all welcome to come on to the Wealthy Marketer Show, and there'll always be a way for us to have insightful, meaningful conversations and identifying opportunities for each one of our guests to become wealthy marketers in their own right. Totally. You know? Yep. So yeah, happy to be here with you in 2022. Well. Here we are. It's the first February already.
First one this year?
First one this year, I believe, yeah. If you recall in the last episode, there was a lot of talk about the Wealthy Marketer 12-week planner and like what that would entail. And magically, I was able to get the first set of planners printed in the first week of January. I got it printed just down the street from where Achee lives. And I'm like, wait a second, I'm like in Achee's neighborhood. I'm gonna call him and get one of these in his hand. So Achee was the first ever human in the world to receive a copy of the Wealthy Marketer 12-week planner. And he's actually immediately put it to you. So Achee, why don't you kind of like share with everybody what that experience has been like?
Thank you for the book. It's definitely been a huge shift in the way that I prepare my week.
Amazing.
It's been a huge shift in the way I think about what needs to get done during the week.
Amazing.
And journaling too. The sections in there for journaling, just writing your ideas, sketching out your ideas. Yeah, putting things to paper has been this lost art or this lost craft that I feel like I did as a kid.
Yeah.
Did a lot more writing, but then it just kind of got lost with the whole technology. Everyone's typing in their phone. Yeah. So yeah, it's just been a nice tangible piece to have. Putting things to paper and then just seeing it come to life and actually happening has been really it's been really cool to see.
Definitely, man. Yeah. So it's proof that when you write things down versus type them out or, you know, think of them in your head and store them in your head, it makes a difference.
Totally.
Right?
100%.
Yeah, definitely. How about the goal setting? Have you found value in that? Setting, you know, your this year goals and then your long-term goals. Have you been able to identify both?
First year goals have been always easier to write down on Sundays, and then the 10-year goals have been like, I started out with like 3, and then the second week I had 2 more to add. So
nice. So what are some examples of like some this year goals that you want to accomplish?
One big one that I'm really looking forward to getting done is this TV pilot I'm writing.
Amazing.
Kind of around my life. It's about my family, my large family of 8 sisters. And,
really?
It's just about the episode. It's my first time writing seriously about, seriously writing.
Yeah.
Script-wise, but it's going to take a long time to finish the project.
Yeah.
But when it does get finished, then it's going to feel so good.
It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, just want to be able to pitch it to some, you know, for Netflix maybe eventually. Who knows?
Amazing. You are a talented artist, multifaceted. I would not be surprised if it came out like as a true banger, and I would not be surprised if, you know, you were able to pitch it to Netflix and have it filmed right here in Vancouver, BC. And next thing you know, Achee is there, famous, and it's all thanks to the Wealthy Marketer Planner and writing it all down. Yeah, awesome, man. Yeah. So that's a good goal to have for this year. Yep. And obviously achievable, right? Yes, and you've written it down, and now you're taking action on it, right? Totally. So that's awesome. What about long-term goals? Like you said, you have a few so far. Yeah, so what would be an example of a long-term goal?
Long-term goals, more like, you know, owning property. I mean, which
owning property
seems impossible.
Yeah,
but,
no problem.
Owning property in BC would be amazing.
That would be amazing. Yeah, for sure.
So getting out of the whole renting situation
definitely.
into owning some piece that for myself would be totally 10 years from now.
10 years from now, maybe
doable.
even sooner. So there's gonna be 2 ways in which Achee is gonna own a piece of property in BC.
What was that?
He's gonna get really rich by selling his show to Netflix.
That's right.
Or somehow, some way, we are gonna figure out how to solve the housing crisis that exists in Canada. Right?
That's a moonshot.
I told you that. Yeah, we're going to be talking about that more and more. It's a topic that's near and dear to my heart because I believe in the Canadian dream and I want to see it preserved and possible for people of our generation and the generations that follow for decades and years to come.
Totally.
That is on the agenda. Funny enough that we'll be talking about that today. And but again, either way, I hope that all your dreams come true. And I hope that you continue to use the Wealthy Marketer Planner
100%.
To keep a document of those goals and then take action on them throughout the week.
Yeah, I wish I actually brought it so I can show it off.
Yeah, no kidding. I know we've talked on the phone all the time and you had mentioned that I brought something up this is happening. And you're like, you know what's funny? I literally drew a picture of this. What you're saying is happening? I drew a picture of it, you know?
Yeah, 2 weeks before.
Yeah, that's amazing. And then what about the other side? So obviously, on Sunday when you start your week, you take an inventory of your goals. And then on the other side, you document the things that you're grateful for, 5 actions to where more money's going to come from, healthy choices, big moves that you're going to make business-wise, and then your productivity for the week. Have you found value in that?
Yeah, I was saying, just kind of just breaking down the week. I mean, having those boxes to check, having those lines to fill in. I actually had to add a few to the weeks because 3 just wasn't enough.
Oh, really?
I had way more tasks
for
than
sure.
3.
Way more.
So
you got your notes here. You can.
That's true.
I always write down. Oh, okay. So these are the things that I really got to take care of.
Right.
And this is all the other stuff.
Okay. Leaks onto that. Okay.
Yeah, leaks onto that.
Sure.
Yeah, takes up the journal.
But that's
with more things to do.
That page for sure just keeps me organized, keeps me accountable.
Definitely. Amazing. Yeah. I'm really glad to see you putting it to use and that it's having an impact. Yep. I'm using it religiously every single week. Come Sunday night, I'm like, oh my God, I got work to do. I got to a brain dump on these 2 sheets of paper. Yep. But it definitely prepares me for the week ahead and gets me way ahead of the game. And not only have I given it to you now, but my team members are starting to use it.
Good.
We have the box of it over there and they're coming in and out we're in the hybrid kind of setting.
Yep.
And more and more people, a part of my team, are starting to use it. So I'm really looking forward to the impact that it's going to have on each and every one of them.
Yeah.
And then I'm looking forward to people from all over the world being open to purchasing one through the wealthymarketer.com and getting the Wealthy Marketer 12-week planner to people in Canada, across US, Australia, anywhere in the world.
Totally.
Anyone that wants to go through the process of becoming the Wealthy Marketer and be a productive member of society that does great things and achieves their dreams. I want to get this planner out to you at a fair price.
Well, I know that you're busy. You talk about
definitely.
Your team and what are some of the projects that you have on the pipeline?
Yeah, so we got a lot going on. Obviously, the thing that's most important to me is grow a search and the valued clients that we serve every single month. I want to make sure that those people are taken care of the utmost priority. And then above and beyond that, I'm really excited about making the Digital Marketing Masterclass under the wealthymarketer.com. So I'm actually taking action right now and building the course. It's going to be about 12 different modules. And I'm basically it's going to be a brain dump, my past, 10 to 15 years as a digital marketer, everything that I've learned from the very beginning through to today, and all the things that are still relevant. I'm going to lay it all out in a course. I'm going to build it through Thinkific, and I'm going to make it available to people all over the world at a great price so that they can learn how to do digital marketing, whether they want to do it for their career, whether they want to do it for their business, or whether they want to build their own digital agency. You can take my Digital Marketing Masterclass, and I'm going to teach you everything. I'm going to teach you how to build a website that converts, how to launch a website through the right domain registration and web hosting, how to create content and SEO, how to manage Google Ads campaigns, how to set up the campaign, how to manage the campaign, how to scale the campaign, how to work through Facebook ads and get that to work for your business or your client's business. What else are we going to be talking about? We're going to be talking about LinkedIn. We're going to be talking about social media management and content creation on the social channels.
This is a course?
It's a course,
It's
yeah.
the email. Is this the email?
No, this is a course, okay. Yeah. So I have this 7-day the 7-day email series on how to become a wealthy marketer.
Yeah.
You can sign up for that for free today at thewealthymarketer.com. We have people every day subscribing to this course right now. It's amazing. First time ever in so long where I have new people subscribing to my content. So I'm really excited about that.
It's picking up.
Yeah. But now I'm building like the holy grail. Like this is going to be like a super course, a masterclass on how to become a digital marketer, right? And I'm going to be teaching everybody step by step all the things that they can do to build a complete online presence ultimately, right? And to do it themselves. And again, whether they want to do it as a profession, working as a digital marketer, as an agency or a marketing manager, right? Or if they have their own business and they want to market their business through digital marketing, I'm going to show them everything. And then again, if you want to build that digital agency and be able to provide like a strong mix of solutions to your clients, you can reference my course and ultimately take each one of these modules and offer them as a service to your clients under your digital agency. So I'm really excited about bringing that to market, sharing my knowledge with the world, and ideally for a very fair price. Anyone in the world can take this course and get a really strong return on their investment because they're going to skill up like crazy. This is very important to me as a wealthy marketer. You got to skill up. So I'm going to give people all the power in the world to learn from me in a very simplistic and thorough way, and it'll allow them to skill up and then bring that in-demand skill set to the marketplace, so they have an opportunity to make more money and then further go along that process of becoming a wealthy marketer through all the steps.
I like that, skill up.
Yeah, ultimately.
You need
And I think it's important, even for someone like yourself, you're in video production, right? But imagine if you learn full force how to build a website that converts, how to SEO that website, how to manage campaigns, how to create content, how to post to social media in a meaningful and more consistent basis.
My value goes through the roof.
Yeah, and you can get your stuff out there more, right? You can get your stuff out there more, right? So that's the idea.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to.
It's a big project to be looking
Yeah,
forward
it's
to.
going to be a big project for sure. But I want to get it done within, I'm putting this on video right now. I want to get this done within the first quarter of 2022.
Okay.
Because I've been saying that I've been wanting to build this course for a year now. And I'm finally taking action on it, so I just want to get it done.
Well, we got the team members to do it now. So.
Yeah, for sure. This one's going to be like time intensive on my part because I'm going to be the one speaking and teaching and everything like that.
Right.
So it's really about like nailing me down and like
getting it on paper first. Getting the courses written out.
Yeah, definitely. I have the outline.
Yep.
Now I just got to like make the videos to go with it. Yeah.
Let's
and
go.
do all the lessons. Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. So we will. And then aside from that, the other big thing that I'm really excited about is our collaboration, and we can kind of announce this officially on episode 3 of the Wealthy Marketer Show. Achee and I and the team at Grow a Search, we're collaborating on VideoGenius. We've created a website, VideoGenius.ca, and we're open for business right now to businesses all across Vancouver and even the country, going all the way back to Toronto, the GTA, Southern Ontario.
Yep.
Anyone that wants to get a video made for their business, to highlight their business and then promote their business and have that video distributed across the major advertising platforms and social media platforms, we have we've created an all-in-one solution where you can come to us. Achee will lead the video production, and then myself and my team at Grow a Search will lead the distribution of that video, getting it out there so that you can get your brand out there and ultimately generate a ton of leads and customers and have video work for your business in a way where it's actually helping to get it out there and grow and all that kind of good stuff.
Totally. They go hand in hand. It's video is the biggest, not the biggest, but it's a huge part of the digital marketing world. And
yeah, it's a super important part. It's probably one of the most important parts today.
Getting there, yeah.
So, for sure.
Yeah,
so I think pairing our skills together and collaborating on some projects, I think really creates a win-win.
We're scaling
and
up.
I feel so grateful to be able to collaborate with you in this way, and hopefully it brings lots of good business and lots of fun in the process.
For sure.
So if anyone out there needs a video, wants to get a video made and then promoted to generate more leads and customers for their business in 2022, reach out to VideoGenius.ca, and you'll have an opportunity to work directly with the man, the myth, the legend, Achee, also known as Mike Johnson, myself and the team at Grow with Search, and I'm certain that we'll be able to do great things for you in 2022 and beyond. So hey, cheers to that.
Cheers to VideoGenius.
Yeah, cheers to that. That's why we're drinking beer today. Typically we don't drink beer during our podcast, but it's a little bit of a celebratory day.
Celebration.
We're celebrating, the progress we're having with the Wealthy Marketer Planner. We're celebrating the launch of VideoGenius.ca. And we're also going to be drowning our sorrows a little bit because there is a very important topic that we need to talk about. I called you this week and I had said, I started putting stuff out there about my concerns towards Canada's housing crisis from the top all the way down. There are major problems and I want to, start to talk about them more, bring things to light, and, let's come up with solutions to these problems because these problems are huge and they're only getting worse. And let me tell you that the Canadian dream as we knew it is starting to slip away more and more and more. And we need to talk about this. We need to identify the problems and we need to identify real hard solutions so that we can, revigorate the Canadian dream, right? And give more and more people of the future a chance to prosper largely through home ownership and keeping cost of living at a fair pace, and then also having a really strong, robust economy that's creating career opportunities and allowing people to follow through on their dreams. Canada needs this housing crisis addressed, and ultimately we need more and more hardworking Canadians to prosper. Yeah.
No, I don't know too much about the whole crisis,
Sure.
the housing crisis. So
Sure.
I'm
No problem.
looking forward to learning.
Yeah.
What is, I guess, technically the big crisis? Like in one sentence, like what is the?
Well, the big problem is there's a supply issue, right? There's not enough housing to go around.
Okay.
Okay. So, and no matter how much they build right now, according to current standards, like we're building houses in the same way that we built them in the 70s and 80s ultimately. Like it's the same product. And then we're building condos in the same way that we built them in the 80s and 90s, right? We're in the 21st century and we're still building things in the way that we did in the 20th century. It's taking too long to build a home. It's taking too long to build, a 200, 300, 500 unit condo building, right? And it's costing way too much, right? And there's population is expanding naturally here in the country because more and more people are being born here, and population is expanding every year with immigration because more and more people are coming here. And with more and more people being born and growing up, and more people coming here from all over the world, and that and in the fact that there's so much investment activity and investors capturing all the supply because they're using their wealth to get it before the everyday Canadian can get it. We have found ourselves in a major pinch, and it's only going to get worse. Right now, the way that we're building, it will never catch up with supply, with the demand, right? It's not happening, right? So we need to do things to create more and more supply. So I think there's a lot of different things that we can do, but we can't just do the status quo, and we can't just do a little thing here and a little thing there. So again, I'm not like a real estate expert. And I'm not a government official, right? But the more and more I listen to the real estate experts and the more and more I listen to the government officials, I get more and more scared because basically what I keep hearing is from real estate experts, we have the prices keep going up because there's not enough supply, right? And that's just the way it is, and there's nothing we can really do about it. Therefore, the prices are just going to continue to go up, and they've already gone up to the point where they're unsustainable. Most people cannot. Like if you're coming out of college, university right now, right, and you go and you get a good job, and you don't have a helping hand from like the generation before you, the odds of you being able to save up enough to own a home at the prices that they're currently at, let alone how they're appreciating, the odds are really stacked against you. And that's not how it was, say, in the 90s, in the 80s, in the 70s, in the 60s kind of thing, right? Like this is a major problem that's in front of us, right? So, it's just sad because like there's going to be a lot of people that think they're going through the process and doing all the right things in the pursuit of the Canadian dream. And the big part of the Canadian dream is home ownership. and that's ultimately slipping away. And it's a result of the supply getting eaten up by a lot of different things, right? Immigration, investors, and generational wealth being passed down to some people, and being able to keep it alive in that way, right? But there's a whole bunch of people in the middle and at the bottom that are completely getting shut out, right? So we need to figure out a way to balance out supply and demand. And the government officials and the real estate professionals, they're not really coming with solutions. They're like, oh, this is a problem, and like there's these little things that we can do. We're going to build more. We're going to build affordable housing. We're going to give more programs for people to get in the market. What else? We're going to slightly increase interest rates, right? And when you mash all this stuff together, it's not the solution to the problem, right? So what are the solutions to the problem? I think that bold action ultimately needs to be taken, and I can share with you about 10 points that I think could act when you piece them all together. It's very aggressive action, but I think that if we did this, as bold as it is, and as crazy as it might seem, we might actually have a fighting chance, to solving the problem, or at least balancing things off a little bit more than how it is. Ultimately, more stuff needs to go on the market. More houses need to go up for sale, and more homes need to be available for rent and at a reasonable price, right? The cost of carrying a rental right now and the cost of carrying a home, way too high, and it's only getting worse. We need to see the market's kind of gone up like this, right? Whereas our income has gone like this, like there's huge separation. And then you look at the U.S., it's kind of gone like this, right? And then I think income is more on a upward trajectory because it has a more robust capitalist economy. We can't have this hockey stick just keep on going to the moon. It's kind of like got to kind of come down and balance off, right? And the only way that that's going to happen is by making more real estate available, up for sale and up for rent, okay? So here are some of the things that I think we need to do in order to solve this problem. Okay, and by the way, I'm wearing my hippie tree sweater, and funny enough, below it says observe and preserve, right? So what I'm observing today is the Canadian housing crisis, and what I'm trying to preserve is the Canadian dream, right? And the Canadian housing crisis is killing the Canadian dream. And there's a lot of people sitting there in their homes right now and they're like, oh, what is this guy talking about? Yes, the timing was right for you, right? And everything's great, but the timing is not right for any child or young adult of the future right now. Like the odds are stacked up against them. So we have to face this harsh reality, and we're gonna have to put some people in uncomfortable situations, right? So here are the things that I think that we need to do. So number one, there's a foreign buyer tax in some major markets across Canada. It needs to increase. It can't just be 10, 15%. It needs to go more towards from 10 to 15 to 20, and maybe even 30 if we're really brave. We can't make the Canadian housing supply so easily available to foreigners. We need to make it easily available to tax-paying, hard-working Canadians. Yeah, that's important, right? So we got to make it less accessible to people from outside the world, because right now it's still too easy for them to buy. Number two, we need to limit the number of investment properties that an adult can hold, okay? So honestly, I think no more than one. You want to have an investment property? Not a problem, right? You want to have an investment property? You're allowed to invest in one single family home. And then that's it. And you know what, maybe if you want to invest in more, you're taxed for holding more, right? So we need to start to discourage and make it harder and harder to acquire investment properties, because every time an investment property is acquired by some person that's hoarding maybe multiple properties, they're stealing the dream away from a hardworking Canadian that would otherwise that doesn't even own one, right? Investors are snapping this stuff up,
Greed.
You show up to a new condo development or a new house development, and I honestly think more than half the people that are buying these things out of the gate are investors. They're buying it for investment purposes. So, that makes things harder for the everyday hardworking Canadian that just wants to get into the housing market or wants to upgrade, right? Or move for whatever reason they need to move. It makes it less and less accessible, right? So we need to limit things. Okay, so the third thing, and you may notice that I'm being really hard on the investor, right? Single family homes are treated too much and taken advantage too much as an investment vehicle in Canada. Probably more so here than almost any other country in the world, right? And the results show, the result of that don't show too good, okay? So if you are holding an investment property, guess what? You're gonna pay a premium on that investment property. Not only are you gonna receive the property tax bill every year, but you're gonna receive an added premium. For holding that investment property, you have to pay a premium for holding it. You gotta pay an extra tax. So an extra tax just for your investment property. And then we got to take that tax money and then put it towards programs that would fund affordable housing projects, maybe even shelter, sustainable shelter for the homeless, very important, right? That kind of stuff. But we have to tax the investor and make owning an investment property in Canada less attractive, and maybe even squeeze some investors out of the market where they're going to have to sell their property to a real person. Like a real tax-paying person that wants to own a home in Canada, right? So this level of taxation will squeeze investors. The investor is squeezing the Canadian taxpayer out of the housing market. We need to reverse that and squeeze the investor out of the Canadian housing market and make these homes available to hardworking tax-paying Canadians. Okay. Number four is there are bedrooms all over this country, literally, sitting empty, collecting dust, right? You got to think about what's happened here, right? One of the biggest generations post World War II, most of them had the opportunity to purchase a single family home. And that home, they're still sitting in today, largely. Their kids have moved out, they're empty nesters, and they're not moving, right? And they're sitting in their 4 and 5 bedroom homes as empty nesters, 2 people to a 4 and 5 bedroom home all over the country. There's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe even 1 million units like this. So if you want to stay in your home, right, which you've paid off, and you kind of got in the market at the beginning of the debt cycle, we're at the end of a debt cycle. All this stuff is going to change eventually. It might be a year from now, it could be 2 years from now, it could be 10 years from now, it could be 50 years from now. But at some point, this cycle that we're in, it's in the 8th or 9th inning, right? So if you want to stay in your home throughout this kind of highly inflated period in the debt cycle, the 8th and 9th inning of the debt cycle, and you want to stay in your home, and you have a bunch of empty bedrooms, and this is in turn forcing families into 2-bedroom condos, or forcing people out into the streets, or making homeownership completely inaccessible to the educated and hardworking Canadian.
What do we have to do?
Right?
What do we have to do?
We have to tax the people for holding the empty bedrooms.
That's tough, though.
Yeah, it's
tough.
hard. It's tough, right?
You're going to tax families who've worked their heart out to pay off their home and raise their children in this house?
Yes, unfortunately we have to.
Okay.
Because it's time for them to move on.
Because of the time we're in. So you're asking everybody to kind of let's just understand this, this what do you call it?
It's the housing crisis.
This debt.
The housing crisis, and we're at the end of the debt cycle.
The debt cycle.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the debt cycle.
Yeah.
Okay, so we tax these families to stay in their own homes.
They can stay in their home, right?
Yeah.
But they're going to have to pay a premium to hold the empty bedrooms. Or, if they don't want to pay the premium to hold the extra bedrooms, then they can sell their home already at a premium. Probably, the house is 5 to 10x since they bought it, right? Sell it, right? Sell it. And then right size. Move into a 2-bedroom condo with no stairs.
Yeah.
A nice 2-bedroom condo with no stairs and, with all the amenities.
Yeah.
Right? Or stay. You can stay. But just bear in mind that if by staying, there is an empty bedroom tax, right, that you will be paying, and that empty bedroom tax will then be taken and put towards building sustainable housing, affordable housing for the next generations, or for the people that have fallen through the cracks and need help, right? Because it makes no sense. How does it make sense that a young family of this generation, right, is being forced into a 2-bedroom condo when there are millions of empty nesters all over the country who are sitting comfortably.
We just gotta wait till they die.
Yeah, which is not happening. Like it's going to take a while. It's going to take another 10 to 20 years, right? Like ultimately, at the end of the day, they're not all going to die at once. And I by no means, you guys are wonderful people. I understand where you're coming from. But you know what? Like you're not helping the situation. So the government's going to have to tap you. They're going to have to tap you, and we're going to have to figure out a way to work together to solve this problem.
I'm hearing you out. I'm hearing you out.
And that's it. And you know what? A lot of these people, if they want to stay in their 5-bedroom home, they'll be able to afford the extra tax. It's not a problem. I know most people are scared of tax, right? But taxation of properties and limiting investors and taking hold of all the supply. This is going to be a huge contributing factor to solving the problem. Next, interest rates.
6.
So again, I'm no economist, and people can say whatever they want to say, but guys, look at the interest rates have been near zero, and look at what it's done to cost of living and real estate prices. I don't care what's going on in the rest of the world. We're in Canada. We have a major problem on our hands. We have to start increasing the interest rates, and we can't be conservative little Canadians about it, right? We got to man up, and we got to increase interest rates to the point where the market starts to move. You increase interest rates, what's going to happen is there's going to be pressure on price, right? Prices are going to start to come down, and more supply is going to be coming on the market, and people are going to move around, right? It's just a reality. And if you're overextended, right, increase in interest rates will decrease the price. You'll get out of your house that you bought probably for too much, and then buy a home more affordably, somewhere down the road. It's just a reality of things. We got to increase the interest rates, and we got to do it like on a steady basis. Otherwise, this problem is just going to become worse and worse. I think the days of 0 to 2% interest rates in Canada, they're done, and that's just the reality. And anyone that thinks otherwise is in complete denial about it, including the Bank of Canada. I'm being ruthless here, but guys, you can look at the charts. It's not good, and it's not going to get any better. And the fact that people are willing and able to pay the price that they're willing to pay for the stuff that's on the market, it is completely insane. It's going to end really bad, guys. It's going to end really bad unless we take some serious action.
It's clearly an issue. This is
definitely. We need to regulate the home builders. So you're building homes, you're building condos. The government's got to get a little bit more involved with this and regulating prices. They're going to have to take control of the price. You can't just gouge people like crazy, and you can't just sell these things to investors all the time. You're going to have to, a part of your quota is going to be selling them to people that are going to be using these homes as primary residents. There's going to have to be a quota.
I see.
Yeah. The days of investors showing up and buying all the inventory, those got to end, right? So these are the things that can be done.
Is it just really quick? Is there too much freedom in this country then when it comes to buying?
Well, no, there's not that much freedom. They control so many things, right?
Well, I mean, even border freedom, people to come in and buy, and people to come in and live.
Well, they have freedom to buy real estate. That's the ultimate freedom, right?
Right. So in the
but
States,
we got to give it less. Actually, in the States, it's really hard to buy a property without a social security number.
Okay, so
and here we've allowed investors, foreigners to come in and buy.
And then go back to
go wherever. Yeah.
Okay.
And it's just a part of the problem, right? There's a lot of investors that do have social insurance numbers, right? And they are here, and they're just buying to accumulate wealth and all this kind of stuff.
Interesting.
Right. But again, when you accumulate put all this stuff together, it's creating more and more problems. You with me? Yeah.
It's getting emotional over here.
Do I sound crazy?
No.
Yeah?
You sound passionate.
Yeah? I'm speaking with my hands. Yeah.
There you go.
So I'm half Italian, and as you can see, I'm very passionate and vocal about this issue, and I'm using my hands a lot. So, I gotta put it on the Italian side for my passion and hand usage on this matter. But guys, I'm sitting here watching, and I just can't believe my eyes. And I'm not a politician. I'm not a real estate professional. I'm not a builder. But I do know that, when you combine those three parties together, you guys, the professionals have created a very bad problem. And this bad problem we are the we're probably in the top 3 in all the world as far as how bad things are becoming. Yeah.
Wow.
So what else can we do? I think we need to change the way we build. Okay. So again,
structure our living spaces. You mean?
Yeah, we need a new product that we can put out into the market at scale. Okay. So
it's like tiny homes kind of thing, investing in tiny homes.
Yeah, like sustainable homes, right?
Homes.
So I'll kind of like share with you a little bit like my perspective on this. So post World War, it was all about like that single family home. You get a plot of land, decent plot of land, and then you get a home built on that at a decent price, and you were able to purchase the home using your paycheck and a mortgage, and everything was balanced, right? That was the dream.
That's just the way it was.
That was the post World War II dream, right? And it happened and it worked for decades, right?
Wait, was that the problem though?
No, I don't think
because
so.
we did that and we kind of like set the standard of, hey, this is how. It could be easy.
It set the standard, yeah, maybe for what the dream is, right? But I think it's a fair dream. I think having a home that you own.
If you do that for too long, then you run out of space.
Yeah.
But then that's what you're saying. We got to build different.
Yeah, we got to build different.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Sorry.
Right. Yeah. So that was fine the way that they were building. I think under that era, it was fine to build that way, right? I think like supply and demand was more balanced back then, and it was easier to get into a home. Okay. Right. Builders were building, and the people were there, and they were buying, and a lot of people had a home. Yep. Obviously, there's a homeless problem that existed back then and still exists today, and it's getting worse. But we'll talk about that. I promise. Then kind of like in like, let's say like the late 70s, 80s, 90s, this condo product came to be, right? So now they have this condo product. They've had this condo product for decades. So it was kind of like in the late 20th century, they started building into the sky in condos and like, 200, 300, 500 units going up all at once. And that was feeding supply pretty good for some time as well, right? And now today, we build these single-family homes and we build these high-rise condos. And I know there's also low-rise. Like there's a lot of like 5-story low-rises going up all across Vancouver, and I understand the idea behind it. Yeah. But even when you combine those 3 main style of products, when you combine them together, we're never going to be able to build enough of those quickly enough to serve the demand of the future. I see. So now what's needed is a new product, right? Like some sort of like technology oriented, like very easy to build, very durable, very sustainable, serves all the needs of a Canadian family. Something new needs to be built. And we need to be able to like build these things need to be able to go up like every single day. There's a new one for a new family somewhere in communities across Canada. Like we got to be able to like just crank these things out. And
home a day.
In the same way where like you can build a website in a week or you can build a website in like 3 to 6 months to a year or maybe even 2, right? The faster way is needed and is used more now, right? The same thing has to happen with construction. We can't just continue to build the products of the past. We're in the 21st century. We need to figure out what does the home of the future look like? Because it's not a single-family detached home in the way that they built them in the past. It's not the condo, and it probably isn't those low-rise, right? Something else needs to be introduced into the market that we can build at scale and get more and more people into like, a nice home in a nice setting. And maybe it's way more like functional and like it's like a smart home, right? That can just, new standards, and it can work to serve the Canadian consumer, year round, and give them a comfortable place to call home and a comfortable place to call home that they own at a fair price. Yeah.
So let's change the way we build.
Yeah, we have to change the way we build. Yeah, it's just a reality, guys.
That's a good question.
It's a reality. We can't be building for the past. We need to be building for the future, and the product of the past is not going to serve the future. So what is the product of the future? We got to figure out what that is. I don't know. Maybe Elon Musk can come to Canada and figure out like the sustainable home of the future and solve our problem.
If it does come, I think it's going to be underground homes.
You think underground?
I mean, we're taking up all the real estate above ground. Why don't we start building stuff?
Put people in holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Or inside of cliffs or mountains.
Yeah, could be. could be.
That could be.
I'm thinking like little, or maybe like tree houses or
Domes, like
something.
you're saying.
Yeah, domes. You know, you
dome
look up and
communities.
you got the blue sky.
Floating
above.
cities.
Yeah, it's almost like we need like the iPhone of the home, right? Just this thing that's like so efficient and powerful and it works. Yeah, and we need to be able to produce them at mass and quickly. Yeah. Again, I'm not an architect or anything like that, but yeah. Got to figure it out.
Interesting.
Yeah. The last one, there's a few more. So number one, I think that like the government needs to kind of like take control of more very like the slums, the slummy type apartments. I think that the government needs to start acquiring those, moving people into other places, tearing them down, right? And then getting people into nicer, affordable homes, right? And you got to do that repeatedly, over and over and over again. You tear one down, you build, right? You move people in, you find another one. This is the way it could work, right? So let's say, for example, you have 2 slums, right? So you find one slummy building, right? And you get all the people, be like, okay, guys, sorry, we're going to rebuild this into affordable, sustainable homes for the future. We're going to move you guys over here, right? Maybe we'll move them into an old hotel or something and take care of them, right? Tear that thing down and then go to the next slummy building and be like, okay, guys, we're going to tear this building down. We just built a new one over here. We're going to move you over here. And, you know, you are now out of the slum and you're into like a really nice place that, you know, you can live in comfortably and work and, you know, at least have a chance of
have some
moving
privacy,
up in life.
have some,
A positive environment. We want to create positive environments for people. And then just continue to do that over and over and over again. And eventually, ideally, you know, maybe we can get rid of all the slummy places, right? Yeah, so something like that. You know, government sponsored, like let's take action and make that happen. And I think there's a lot of people a lot of great people that are stuck in not the greatest housing conditions, right? Because the system's just it's failing them and it's failing them more and more, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, let's give them a nice place to live. That's all I'm saying.
So.
And it's a concept, and it's probably an expensive concept, and probably people will be, oh, that's a heavy use of Canadian tax dollars. But if we tax all the people up at the top, right, more and more, right, and then that opens up more supply to the market to feed the demand, and then we can then use that to feed the people at the bottom and give them a better environment to call home and live life in Canada, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And then obviously there's a huge homeless problem that exists in Canada's major markets, and obviously Vancouver is probably the one that has like the worst. We need new solutions for the homeless, right? Because I believe that no one should have to be living on the streets, regardless of, you know, what situation they found themselves in. There should be a place for them, and there should be like some sort of environment for them that will allow them to rehabilitate, or at least if they have to live in circumstances where they can't do much, give them an environment that they can do that safely. I know that this is a touchy subject and it's extremely complicated in many different levels, but we have to make environments like that more accessible, and ideally maybe it would help to reduce the homeless population, because it's sad to see. And it makes some of our most beautiful neighborhoods, it kind of like gives them
a little scary sometimes.
A little scary and challenges, right? And it also like affects the businesses that operate, the businesses and the people that live in those areas, right? So yeah, just more needs to be done to help the homeless.
Yeah, more conversations too is a healing
definitely.
point. So using this platform
it comes down to shelter, it comes down to programs, it comes down to understanding, and it comes down to, you know, support, right? Yeah. I guess from a social worker standpoint, like that's going to be integral too, right? And I think some people that are out in the streets, their situations may not ever be fixable, unfortunately, right?
Tougher than some.
Yeah, they might have challenges for the rest of their lives, right? But let's figure out a way to help them more. Yeah. And I think it comes down to, you know, new forms of shelter, and obviously making certain social programs more accessible, or at least encouragement of them, right? Because I feel like there's enough to go around to help people from the top all the way down. Yeah. So these are ideas. Again, I'm not a politician, and like a lot of people will question me on a lot of these things. And your comments and your questions and you can make fun of me all that you want, but like, hey, I didn't create the situation. I didn't create this situation that we're in. I didn't take home prices off to the moon. You know, that was a result of, you know, government officials, the real estate industry, builders, and, you know, the rich people from all over the world. They created this problem, right? And none of you are bringing solutions. None of you are bringing a foolproof plan. You know, none of you are bringing like the tough concepts and the ideas and bringing them all together to solve the problem, the multifaceted, unending problem that sits before us. None of you are doing anything to solve the problem. And I'm drawing a hard line here, and I'm at least bringing ideas. This is going to piss off so many people. But you know, like half the people in this country are already pissed off about, the other half are already pissed off, right? Because they can't afford to live in Canada. That you got to be rich to live in Canada now. You can't just, you know, go there, get educated, get out there into the real world, make a decent living, and, you know, carry a balanced household and with a family and all this kind of stuff. Like those days are quickly past us, right? So let's take the hard action. Let's not just do one thing at a time. Let's go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and let's bring back the Canadian dream and make it accessible to the hard-working, educated, tax-paying, law-abiding citizens of this country. And largely, we need to look out for the people of the future, the generations of the future. They need this more than anybody. We need to solve this problem at hand. And the only way that it can be solved is through very aggressive solutions that I believe that I've laid out here today on this podcast.
Some big ones. Some big ones. And it's nice to hear someone, again, speaking with passion, because it's something you actually care about.
Sure.
And when we first met, this is one of the first things that you mentioned was this big moonshot of solving the housing crisis.
Yeah.
And to me, I didn't really understand what that even meant. First, I learned what moonshot was. So I was like, "What's a moonshot?" Like, so,
moonshot goal. For sure.
Certainly. And then I found out what that was really quick. But so just thanks for sharing your solutions and your concerns about what's going on in the world, because it is tough.
Totally. And I understand that a lot of this stuff is complicated and maybe it's far-fetched and maybe it can't be implemented for whatever reason. There's certain rules that we have to abide by. You know, we have handlers from not in our country, but we have handlers in other parts of the world that, you know, they tell us what to do, and we're their pawn. Canada is their pawn, right? And obviously we have politicians that want to protect their jobs and, you know, take care of the rich and all that kind of stuff. But the reality is, like, these are the types of things that need to be executed in order to give everybody a fair chance. Yeah.
Cool.
And if anyone else has like a foolproof plan, not just saying, oh, this is the problem and that's how it is and we're just going to accept it and we're all going to get rich, the rich are going to continue to get rich in the process. Like, no, I want to hear like a full-blown, like, step-by-step solution that's actually going to solve the problem at hand. You know, not just, hey, let's do this because we have to and nothing's going to happen. You know, let's do these things and this is going to work. And we're finally going to be able to balance out supply and demand and give everybody a fair chance at the Canadian dream again. You like it?
Love it.
Props?
Yes.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for listening. Did you learn a couple of things?
I did. I learned a lot. And like I said, I've been learning since working with you. So it
for
seems
sure.
it's not going to stop, and I'm excited for the projects to come and see some of the wins that we get this year.
For sure.
Putting some of these into action.
Yeah, somehow, some way. And if there's any politician out there that wants to give me a phone call or talk to me about this, or, you know, maybe there's a open dialogue that we could have, or you could come on as a guest on the Wealthy Marketer show, you're welcome to. And the other thing is, I have another website that I'm going to be launching. It's called Wealthy Canadians. And it's all about educating people on how to live a wealthy lifestyle as a Canadian, right? How to build wealth, how to live the good life, all this kind of stuff. And I think a big part to that website and that brand, I'm going to dedicate to solving Canada's housing crisis. I'm going to start covering covering it, creating content on it, maybe even doing some special shows about it.
Wealthy
Canadians, WealthyCanadians.ca.
Okay.
Right? So we're going to educate people on how to build wealth as a Canadian, educate people on how to live a wealthy Canadian lifestyle, right? And dig deep on bringing solutions to the Canadian housing crisis that exists today.
Let's look out for that.
Yeah. So I think that's kind of like where I want to leave things as far as like the aggressive talk towards solving the big problem at hand. And, we're looking forward in the future to having more guests on, and a lot more of the episodes in the future are going to be more chill and more fun. And we won't be talking so much about like this hard stuff. But this topic right now, the crisis that is growing and unfolding more and more right before our eyes, I thought, let's take this opportunity to address it and make an episode on it. And, maybe someone out there, the right person out there will hear what we have to say today and be open to the suggestions and open to a conversation and open to actually like coming up with like real ideas that will address this problem. Because, ultimately I care to preserve the Canadian dream. Like I want to see my kids go to school, get a good education,
buy a home,
establish their career, get married, have kids, and be able to afford a home based off their income and not have to depend on their rich parents or wealthy parents or, 2 generations of wealth just in order to keep the Canadian dream alive. Like I want to see more and more kids have access to what other generations had access to in the same light. Right? I think it's important. I think it's for everybody's own well-being.
Yeah.
And on that note, I guess we will wrap it up. I hope I didn't scare you too much, Achee. Started out pretty light. Yeah. And thankfully we have these beers largely still full, and onward and upward. All the best to all of you. And again, we're not stopping, right? Like at the end of the day, the country is in somewhat of a dire situation, but we're here and we're hustling and we're making our dreams happen, and we're pursuing the Canadian dream. We're healthy. We have a roof over our head. I look forward to making wonderful things happen with you, Achee, and onward and upward. Cheers to that. Enjoy. We'll catch you guys in the next episode.
All right.
So how did I sound though? Did I sound like I was crazy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?